What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kojay here, Palestina Libre. This is a new episode of Voices for Gaza. In this episode, recording date is May 13th. In this episode, I have a special guest with us, Jessica Qattawi. She is an American Palestinian entrepreneur who does many great things. She established her own business, NV Media, which is situated in downtown Riverside, where it's an agency that focuses on various campaigns, including social media, digital marketing, radio, television, billboards, prints, and website design, event coordination, a lot of things. And she's also the host of What's Up Inland Empire podcast. She has her own teeth whitening brand business. And all these links are going to be provided in the description. It's probably already there for this premiere. So do check it out, see what she's about. And I came across her Instagram page, and we connected that way while sharing information and reposting stuff about what's going on in Palestine, because this genocide is wrong. It's actually happening despite what our government denies, because they're funding it. So why would they, say it's genocide? Anyways, we're going to go into a lot of that as we do on my channel. And the point is to keep spreading awareness of the truth, what's going on in Palestine, keep the conversation going, normalize talking about Palestine. So maybe we could help stop this insanity going on that's consuming so many innocent lives for greed. And we'll get into that. And I have to say, from talking with her, she's got a genuine, passionate, beautiful heart. She really cares, and she's very driven. And her enunciation is very, very wonderful. I like how she eloquently talks, because that's something I'm working on. If you saw my earlier videos and my content, I'm very mumbling, and you can barely hear me. I kind of slur my words. I'm a little lazy. I've gotten a lot better, so I'm working on it. So I really admire having such guests like Jessica in my circles to get to know and learn from and take inspiration from, but also just to help share the voice, uh, share both voices, share your voice. You watching this premiere and or you watching the replay of this, I thank you so much. Keep talking, keep supporting Palestine, and keep spreading the truth. So yeah, without further ado, let us get into the discussion right now. Jessica, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, Kojay. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it, and all the support and you just building awareness of, what's happening in Palestine and Gaza. So thank you so much.
Dang, you're really good. Like that. See, I'm trying to do my best here because as everyone knows, I'm a gamer. I talk about geeky stuff. So this whole crisis with what's going on in Palestine has been breaking my heart, and I just really want to try and do whatever I can to help talk about it, spread awareness, to do a domino effect to the point where it could just stop and we could free Palestine.
Can we free Palestine already? Gosh.
I know.
Like, how many months, how many dead children, how many, just lost dreams and everything. Just can it just be over already? I know it's, I mean, gosh, I don't even know where to start, but I'm gonna let you ask me questions because I have so much to say.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna try my best to steer the ship. So first off, I want to introduce everyone who you are. You have amazing everything. You just ran for mayor for Riverside.
Yes, I just ran for mayor of Riverside,
and
the election already ended.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, so I didn't win, but I you know what? I killed it for having no political background at all. And I mean, let's be real. I'm Palestinian. Running during all this that was insane in itself. I was hoping I would get more support from the Arab community, but people don't want to vote, and it's kind of sad because this could have been a really big, deal. And I'm so sorry. There's like a little fly like bugging me.
I can see it.
Because you can see it, like, it's going in my face. But I got about 30% of the votes against the incumbent. And so it's funny because this was all new to me because I was never into politics. I was actually one of those people that was like, I don't want to vote. It doesn't make a difference. Why am I going to do this? It's going to always be corrupt anyways, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but one of my friends, he was running for city council. And so he inspired me to run. In my ward, my area, I wouldn't be able to run till 2026. Well, I'm the type of person, I take initiative. I get on it real quick. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to run for mayor because mayor was up for grabs. And my city's homeless, have increased. The homeless increased. Our utility costs went up. We've got fees on our bills that make absolutely no sense. And it's just like, our city is just taking money from the residents. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight for what's right, because that's the type of person I am. And I'm going to stand up and I'm going to stand up for the residents and make a difference for my city. And so I put in my paperwork and I got sworn in and I was on the ballot and I ran for mayor of Riverside.
That's so awesome. Yeah, because at first, because I'm like, I'm kind of sketchy on politicians, I'm like, I don't trust them. And then it's like, oh, should I have this girl on my show? Dang. But what I saw one of your quotes on it, you said you're not a politician, and I'm probably misquoting you, but you said something along the lines of, you're not a politician and that's what is needed.
Yes.
Something like that. And I was like, all right,
it's time
I
for
feel
change.
like I could trust her. She won my heart there, right there.
Thank you. Yes, it was a very unique campaign. Let's put it that way, because I wasn't somebody that came in that was, they call them career politicians. So career politicians, that's what they do for a living. A lot of them are well connected. They're also funded by APAC.
All the
yeah,
lobbies and Poofy
yeah.
in that one.
And we don't like APAC. So they are destroying our country. And they're the reason why the Zionists are taking over and manipulating everything in the news. And so it's awful. But
it's crazy how blatant it is. It's like right out there. It's not even a conspiracy theory or a rabbit hole to go down and like, ooh, maybe little crumbs of what ifs. It's literally in your face, promoted by our president even. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
That's mind-boggling.
Did you see that video of Biden where he was like, oh, I wish I could be a Zionist, and, or something about like not being Jewish, you want to be a Zionist or something.
Oh, wait. Was it the conference before he was on that talk show where he's like, I'm a Zionist. You don't have to be Jewish to be a Zionist.
Yeah, because that's before. Yeah. So there's one video before where he's like, I wish I was a Zionist. And then they're like, oh, you could be a Zionist. You don't have to be Jewish. And he's like, oh, and then you got that video. Yeah.
Dang. Wow. And that second video that I thought was the first one, there was a rumble of applause. I was like, oh, dang, there's more of them. They're all over the place in there.
Yeah. And let's be very clear to everybody. This is not a conflict of religion. This has nothing to do with religion. Religion is being used as, what's the word I'm looking for? Like to make it seem like it's about religion, but it's not. It has nothing to do with the religion. And when people bring up, oh, you're anti-Semite or anti-Semitic because you're against the Jews. No, first of all, let's be very clear for those who don't know what a Semite is. A Semite is somebody from the Arab lands, okay, it's the Middle East, of the original 7 tribes. So I'm a Semite. I am a Semite. My last name, Qattawi, is from Gaza. So I unfortunately never got to go to Gaza. I did. Oh my God. There's so many things.
Let's start at the beginning.
You don't even know.
No, I feel it. You're born here and raised here with your family?
I was born and raised here. My mother is from Bethlehem. Bethlehem. Wow. So she was born where Jesus was born. My mom is a Christian Palestinian. And my father, he was not born in Palestine. However, his parents were both born in Palestine. They were refugees in Jordan because of the war so when the Nakba happened, 1948 Nakba, my grandfather and grandmother had to go to Jordan. So they were refugees in Jordan. Obviously, they didn't want to get killed and massacred by, what was going on. So they went there, and then that's where my uncles and aunt were born. So, and they were born in Jordan, but Palestinian blood, just refugees, had to flee. And my dad side of the family is Muslim. So I feel so blessed in this life because I am blessed to have two different religions that I grew up with. So I can be very understanding to both. And when people try to put down Islam or say negative things about it, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you obviously been watching way too much, fake news, movies that try to manipulate what you believe. Because if you actually really meet, a true Muslim, they're so nice and so giving, and they're
Thank
like,
you. We are. I'm
yeah. So
Muslim.
you're Muslim, okay? Yeah.
I was Christian, but
You
that's a
converted?
long story.
Okay. See, no,
Yeah.
that's amazing. And you know
No,
what?
it's
I'm
true. What you saying?
Yeah. And so, yeah, the nicest people, the kindest people. So I can't even tell you, like, when I go to visit my family in Jordan, they're just so nice. And not just to me, because I'm visiting, to everybody, they just have good hearts. And why? Because that's what the Quran teaches them, to be good to people, to treat others, with respect and love. And
There's a lot
it's
of
just
conduct in it.
Yeah. And they say the Quran is a book of how to live your life. It's a book about a guidance of how to live your life. But and my mom, I love my mom and their family, that side of the family. They're Greek Orthodox, or Christian. And my mom, obviously, she was born where Jesus was born. So she's got, like the Virgin Mary and the crosses everywhere. And, that's that side of the family. And I love both. I really, appreciate both religions, all religions. I think when it comes down to people, you are a good person or you're a bad person. It has nothing to do with your religion. It has nothing to do with that. If you're going to do good to people or do bad, it's who you are, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I grew up with two different religions, and people always ask me, like, oh my gosh, that must have been crazy. And yeah, it was kind of different. But now you've got this whole situation happening in Palestine, and they're trying to make it seem like, oh, it's Muslims fighting Jews. And and what drives me crazy is that they're trying to say, well, oh, the Old Testament says that this is the land of, the is like Israel, it's for Israel. It's this. This has all been planned. This is honestly, like, this is how I feel. It's all been planned. This was planted since the Balfour Declaration. Before that, when they put that in, the Britain government decided that they were just going to take land. Like, who does that? Like, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to take this land for these people. And yeah, is that cool? And the funny thing is, there was already in that area, there was 75% Palestinian Muslims. There was 20% Palestinian Christians. And then there was 5% Palestinian Jews. And guess what? They all lived in harmony. They all loved each other. They
And
took
for a
care of
long
each other.
time.
Yeah, a long time, years and years and years. This is not new. And it was that instance when, World War I was happening, the Balfour Declaration happened. And then I was talking to my dad today, because I told him I was going to be on your podcast, and I was just kind of trying to pick his brain a little bit and make sure I have our family history down too. So I can speak truth. And he told me that there was like some, okay, so the Ottoman Empire, right? So it used to be the Ottoman Empire, which was like all the Middle Eastern countries. And basically there was somebody that was ruling in the Jordan area, and there was like a deal made between that guy and Britain, to like, where he said, hey, we're gonna fight the Ottoman Empire and get you guys out of that, but we want some of Palestine, like we want Palestine land. And they were going to give Jordan part of Palestine land and take part of it, and say that was going to be the land for the Jews, for them to go and live on, right? And so there's just like so many different things, so many like plots and, just, I don't know, a lot of scheming just always being done behind the scenes. And the sad thing is you've got the people that live there, the people of the land that want peace, that just want to live. And then you got the evil people. I call them the evil people because their whole existence has to do with land and money, right?
Yeah, I was saying earlier on one of my on my podcast on this channel, it's like I really feel that a lot of us really follow God, those of us who believe, and the government follows God, not God, but guns, oil, and dollars.
Oh my God, that's the best way to put it.
like,
Wow. I haven't heard that
I
one.
can't own that. I heard that. I was like, oh, I'm using that because it's so true.
Yeah.
Everything, you follow the dollar, you follow the riches, and that's where it all comes down to. Because look what they're doing right now. Because what Netanyahu said like last week, he's using like 19. I don't know if it's 19 billion, but it was 19 something of their currency to, in the billions mark, to start rebuilding for settlements in Gaza.
Yeah, that was
right
the whole
then and there.
plan. Why are they just demolishing buildings and clearing them out? It's very obvious. They knew exactly what they were doing from the get-go. October 7th was planned. It was a setup. It was a way for them to get in and start clearing the land so they can take over. And there's so many resources and so much money to be made with that area, but the Palestinians could never do it because they're limited. They've been blocked. There's a wall.
That's an open air prison.
Them. That's exactly
like looking at it. It's a huge wall with all these huge checkpoints and guns pointed out and high-tech cameras looking into the houses of all these people. It's crazy. I mean,
you can't do anything without them seeing what you're doing. And I personally have been to Palestine, and I didn't go to Gaza. I went to West Bank, and then I went to an area where my dad's family lives by Bir Saba. So Bir Saba is where my dad's family is from. And, my dad calls his family sellouts. And let me tell you why. Because my dad.
I'm familiar with this term amongst family.
Yeah. So what it is that Israel was basically going to fight them for the land, or they could say, we'll give you the land. You give us Israeli citizenship. We get to stay here, but it's Israel. And that's what that my dad's side of the family did in there. Yeah. And so my dad, like when he talks about it, my dad's passionate like me. So he talks about it, he gets all like, those sellouts, but I respect whatever they had to do. They have children, they have families, they don't want to fight, and they don't have a wall around them. So they're like in the middle in between Gaza and West Bank. So if you're to drive from West Bank to Gaza, they're like right in the middle. They're like on the way. So the Beled, the area of the city that they live in, is called Rahat. And I don't know where or who named it exactly, but do you know what Rahat means in Arabic? It means gone. Rahat.
Oh, dang.
And I always I need to look that up because it always stood out to me. Like, why would they call a city it's gone? You know what I mean? Weird, huh? Yeah.
That's very dodgy.
But yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit about my experience when I went to Palestine for the first time.
When was this?
So the very first time I went to Palestine, I want to say it was around 8 or 9. So we would always go to Jordan. So we'd go every summer to Jordan. And then one summer, my dad's like, I'm taking Jessica to Palestine. And he wanted to take me to meet his family. And he wanted to take me to see Jerusalem and, the mosques. And he even took me to my mom's side, Bethlehem, to go see, the churches and everything where Jesus was born and all that. And but let me tell you, let's start with how hectic it was to cross the border from Jordan to Israel, because Israel would only let so many people in. And so the people were rushing to get in. And it was they were making it so just hectic for people that just wanted to go in. Only so many people could go. You'd have to fit on this bus, and everybody had to squeeze on a bus to get over. Like if you couldn't fit on this
Wow.
bus, you couldn't go in that day. It was weird. I'd never experienced anything like this in my life. I was so scared. And and I'm just with the Palestinians right now. Like we're trying to get on a bus. My dad's like, come on, we gotta go, like, let's go. And then we get on and we get to the other side. Then we go to this like big cement like building. It looks scary. It looked like a jail in a sense, it kind of looked like a jail. And we walked in and, there's just all these really young people with AR-15s, machine guns. And I remember telling my dad, I was like, Baba, I'm like, why do they have guns? And he's like, don't look them in the eyes. Just don't look them in the eyes. That's all he would say to me. And he was like, and be quiet. And like, he wanted me to not say anything and not look them in the eyes. And being a young child with an American passport, he was still afraid for me. Okay. And this
Wow.
and this is like, gosh, like 25 years ago. Okay. So it's like 25 years ago or more. No, gosh, I'm older than that. 35 years ago. Shoot. Okay. Now everybody knows all them.
Everyone's all doing the math right now.
Like, how old is she? Put your calculators away, please.
No, but that's crazy. Like even with an American passport kid, because we've seen videos of them constantly abducting children off the streets with no provocation.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
Damn.
So when we got over and we ended up, have you ever heard them people saying like, oh, you can get stuck at the border for 3 hours for no reason?
Yeah.
We got stuck for 3 hours for no reason. Well, actually, the reason was because my dad had a Palestinian passport and I had an American passport. And they didn't like that. They had to
figure that out?
They didn't like that.
Why is this?
Yeah, because when we left, like obviously, since I was a kid, I asked a lot of questions, and I'm like, "What's going on? Why did they do that?" And it's like, "Oh, it's because you're with me and you have an American passport." And I'm like, "Huh?" And I didn't understand it. I'm a kid. I'm like, "Okay, what does that matter?" I didn't understand what was happening, right? So as we come in, we drive, and I want to say it was a couple hours. I don't know. I fell asleep in a taxi, and then we get to West Bank, but there we're the where it's closed off, right? I can't remember if it was walls at that point or if they were building them, but it was like separated. I remember being separated and us having to talk to more people to get in and to get through. And like it was weird. It was so weird. It just, being so young, honestly, like some of my memories are like kind of like confusing. You know what I mean? Because it made no sense to me. I'd never seen anything like that in my life. And you get
How'd you feel? Did you feel scared at all or just uncomfortable or mix of it all?
Completely scared. When we got into that, when we got into the Israel side, it was so scary because all those guns, I was petrified. I possibly thought I could die that day. And I was like, why did I want to go to Palestine? You know what I mean? As a kid, I was like, why are we going here? This is scary. I'm not excited for this. I was so scared. But I'm glad that my dad took me, and eventually took my stepmom and my siblings as well, and we got to go there and visit. But it was sad. It was sad, and I was so young. The last time I went was when I was 14, and so it's still a while ago. I hadn't gone since because I guess it's got really bad at some point. And my dad just stopped taking us there. He's like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea. He just got, worried for us and our safety. So we didn't go. But I want to go now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm honestly, like, I don't even care. Like, I want to go to Gaza right now. If I can find any type of organization that would allow me to go in, I will go right now. I have no fear. The only thing I fear is God. And, God made me strong for something, so I better use it, and I can't keep posting. I can't keep posting about it. I can't just go to protests. Like, I need to do more. I'm not that type of person. Like, this is not enough for me, My sister
it must be.
She's so she, we have different dads, but her dad's Palestinian too. And I told her I was going to be on your show. And
hey, while you're all looking at a computer talking.
Yeah. But yeah, we're both, we're really devastated. It's the hardest thing to sit there and just watch like, I feel like all people are my people. Okay. So like, I don't care what color you are, what race you are, what religion you are. I love everybody. That's what God put in my heart, to love everybody. And I really do believe that's kind of like a Palestinian thing too, because I really feel like Palestinian people just like, they have love for everybody. They have love for everything. You see you see them in those videos. They're like running from, the bombs and everything, and they're smiling. They're like, you know what? God is good. Everything happens for a reason, right? Like, like what amazing, just like, I don't know, commitment to their faith and to humanity. And then here we are, people watching, and we're not committing to them. We're not doing anything to, I don't know, like to stop it. But what can we do? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm not Palestinian, and I feel for them so much. And it's horrific to me that people, it's like, I've compared it to seeing a massive school shooting happen nonstop. And we always see how horrible those are and wonder what we could do to stop them if you were there. But this is happening right now in real time, continuously. And I'm not even Palestinian, so I can only imagine what you and the other Palestinian friends I know and people I know are going through. It's just, my heart breaks for you all. And I have no idea what else I could do. I've been to the protests and posting, talking, and it's crazy. It's revealed to me what's really true. If anything positive to take out of it, like I see now, it's like, oh, that was a lie this whole time. That was a distraction this whole time. This is what's really happening. They're not really the bad guys. They are. What? And it's crazy. And
propaganda, manipulation, gaslighting.
For so long.
We're in a toxic relationship with our government.
Yeah. Very
It's
toxic
insane.
relationship where they beat you up and, they tell you why it's your fault.
Yeah.
And they take everything they want.
It's like a genocide is happening right now. A genocide. Right?
Yeah.
And nobody's stopping it. And what's up with the world leaders? We're starting to see some step up and say, oh, we're not going to do business with Israel anymore. We're not going to do, but
like some of the colleges too are not going to do business.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the divesting that a lot of, and that's why the students are, creating those encampments and trying to like stand up for it. And they're getting punished and they're getting, threatened to get deported and not graduate. And they work so hard. Don't you teach them in school to, speak your mind and stand up for what's right? And you know what I mean? Like, isn't the First Amendment free speech?
Yeah. Freedom of religion.
I don't know, because I felt like maybe it changed in the past 7 months.
Some little dotted line we didn't read.
So I'm gonna tell you something like kind of like crazy. This is so crazy.
Ready
for it?
Wait.
So my sister's
all right,
like,
now I'm ready.
You don't want to say hi? Okay. So she's right here. She's just watching me. I'm like, okay.
It's all good.
So a year to almost the day before October 7th happened, everything happened, I had a dream. And I wrote it in my notes because I woke up in the middle of the night and it was such a crazy freaking dream that there was no way that I could not write it down. Because I dream all the time. We always dream, but we don't always remember it. But this one made me like say, I'm gonna put this down. This is pretty intense. I don't know, like I had it like in me to just put it down. And it's in my notes and it's so crazy. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let me see. Yeah. So I had this dream, and when you put stuff in your notes, it keeps it under the date and time unless you edit it, which
yeah.
My sister, I almost edited it because I spelt something wrong and she's like, no, don't. And I was like, okay. So I'm just going to show you. I don't know if you'll be able to really see it, but
is it drawing? If it's words, you can read it.
So see how it says 2022. So
yeah.
That. And then let's see. I
can still click on it and it'll show basically the beginning.
Okay.
Here you go. You got the big picture right there. Bam.
Okay. Hi. Okay. So see how it says dream 10-10-22. So
closer a little bit. I can see. I just want to be sure for the disbelievers. I see. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, you can see all this other stuff because I keep random things in here on my notes. So I'll just go in there. But dream 10/10/2022, October 10, 2022 at 1:20 a.m.
So the timestamp.
The timestamp.
Ooh.
Okay.
1:20 a.m.
And then look how crazy this is. Why did I write in my phone Israel with an A at? Because that's what everybody.
Did you dream? Doing. Were you censored in your dream?
Yes. Do you want me to read it to you?
I mean, it's up to you. What you give us is a gift. Whatever helps Palestine. That's what this is about. Keeping the conversation going.
So I dreamt this. I had this dream before. So I dreamt I was in Israel, but I was with the Palestinians. I was witnessing the preparation of a Holocaust. They were lining the children up to take them away. The adults had already been taken. The kids were laughing and playing because they had no idea what was really going on. I was able to maneuver around the town because I was American, but they had curfews for all, so I would hide and potentially put myself in danger to see what was happening at night. At night, they're cleaning up the town of the residents to take over. I had people helping and telling me what to do so I could capture what was happening. People that were disobedient were killed immediately. I kept trying to go live to show everyone that follows me what was happening, but it was like my phone was blocked from doing so. Then I tried to record it to upload it to Facebook and the video would disappear. I knew the phones were tapped into, so I started being more careful to not get caught because my goal was to expose the truth to the world. One of the last things I remember was seeing how beautiful the buildings were with impressive details and designs. Then I start walking somewhere, got approached by these people in uniform coordinating this, and I was acting like I was lost because they began to question me. All of a sudden in my dream, I feel something, and then directly above me, I was standing in some type of rock hut. A body fell from the sky and hit the hut right above me. Everyone around freaked out. Then I woke up. Now, going back, I'm going to get out of it because I don't want the timestamp to change. So going back and thinking about it, what I thought was a body falling on top of me, I believe it was a bomb. Now, when I look back, I believe it was a bomb that hit, and then I woke up. But that was my dream a year before. And I'm not psychic. I'm not even trying to claim anything like that. I think that was, I don't know. And that's why I feel like I have to do something. That I have to be a big part of this. I have to be a big part of Free Palestine. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes. God put it in my heart. And that's why I have no filter. I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care about what people think or what people are going to say. The most important thing to me is what God thinks and what God, wants from me, and anything he's going to put in my heart, I'm going to do it. And I know it sounds like, oh, I'm just, a girl here in California and, but whatever, I'm, like I said, I'm ready to go to Gaza. I'm ready to do whatever it takes. And I know something will come to me. Something will come to me. I keep trying to think of a plan, how to make this stop. Literally, every day I try to think up a plan of what we can all do to come together to stop this. And we're going up against so much money. So much
money, so much propaganda, and also so much disbelief. Someone want to ask you earlier, it's astounding to me with how much information is out there. And I hear someone make a comment, let's say they're saying Hamas has infiltrated the school campuses and everyone's pro Hamas or everyone's pro genocide of the Israeli people and all this stuff it's just, I don't know what it is. It's either people grabbing onto the embers or whatever propaganda is still floating around there just to distract people, or it's crazy because, like I said, I'm not Palestinian and I don't know all this history until recently when I decided to look into it. And it took only 2 to 3 hours to know what's going on. And ever since then, with everything unveiling before my eyes and everything I continually find out, it's crazy to me. Because, okay, my question is, how do you feel about people's disbelief and what's the word where they just shove the questions aside? Because I shared a clip. that's why I do a lot on Instagram and my channel, where the students were talking to the director or principal of the campus, and they asked him, do you believe a genocide is going on? And he says, I'm not qualified to make that realization, or something like that. So he's not qualified to have an opinion that a genocide is happening. He says something like, I'm not a scholar in that department. So I don't know what's this
Who
dismissive.
needs to be a scholar to recognize a genocide?
Exactly. So what do you think about, what's your reaction and opinion to all these people who are in disbelief or still believe the propaganda and are still dismissive?
Yeah. So there's like a couple different ways I look at that. So one thing is, a lot of these people are afraid that, you know, they're going to lose their jobs, lose their money. It comes down, a lot of it comes to money, okay? And this person might only be making like $150,000 a year, but they still don't want to lose that $150,000 a year that they're making, right? So they're doing it from a place of just like, take care of myself and I'm not going to worry about anybody else. And that's why a lot of people aren't, you know, really opening their eyes and trying to listen. They're like, well, it's not in my town. I'm not going to worry about it, right? But also, do you know that in Israel, that they are allowing people to move in there? You can come from any country. You just say you're Jewish.
The settlers, right?
The settlers. Yeah, of course. And so they come in, they just say they're Jewish. And that's why you got a lot of pedophiles over there, by the way, because they leave America to go there because they're not, as long as they're Jewish, and they spend a couple years in the IDF or IOF. Most of us are now calling it IOF because you're realizing it's not a defense, it's an occupation force. And so they go there and they got to be part of it for 2 or 3 years. I think it's 2 years. And then they're free to live, and they, you know, I think they get free healthcare, free education. They can go steal any Palestinian's home. They give them weapons so they can just go in and kill them and take their homes, and that's okay. So it's, you know, I want to say that, like, I'm a very good-hearted person, and I try to always look at perspectives, from every perspective, and, you know, all the different angles.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got these people that have grown up in Israel. And do you know how badly they brainwash the Israelis that are born there and have been growing up there to believe Palestinians are bad?
I believe it. I've seen the content.
You see how they go
where
there?
They believe that, we have to kill them. They should all die. It's like they're mosquitoes.
Yes, exactly. Right? Like, that's how they treat us Palestinians there. That's how they think of us. They think we're just like scum on the earth that should just be wiped away. But that's brainwashing. So I actually feel really bad for the people there, because they've been brainwashed to hate and to do evil things. Like, how sad is that for these people? Like, they can never have that peace. You know what I mean? They're always going to have that in their hearts. Such a negative way to live. It's so sad. And I feel bad for them. You know, even the Palestinians there, we just would live. Like, we just live. You know, I've seen my family there. They just live. They're like, well, we got to deal with this. And they just deal with it. And this is kind of funny thing. My cousin is a famous race car driver in Palestine. She's one of the Speed Sisters. Yeah. So the hot blonde, that's my cousin in the Netflix documentary. So if you go watch it, Betty is my cousin. And
whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen it.
No, not yet.
No?
I'm gonna find and put in the link when this premieres.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, put it. So you can see in there, she gets shot by the IOF because they were trying to go to a spot to go race.
Mm-hmm.
And they shot her with some kind of like gas can. And she, like, in the show, she's like crying and she's like hurt and, you know, freaking out. But that's how it is there. And you can actually see in the show the occupation. what they're doing to the Palestinians. There's even like where they're talking about the Speed Sisters, and they're like, oh, like on a TV show, and they're like, oh yeah, if they can even get out, you know, to go race or something like that. But I mean, it's there for the world to see, and it's like crazy how people don't want to see it. They just want to believe whatever's easy. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and sometimes it's just easier to go with the flow and believe what everybody else is believing than actually stand up and say, hey, what is this about? Let me do research, like you did research, and which is amazing. A lot of people don't want to do that. You know, they just want to turn on Fox News or CNN and believe what they see. But those are the worst news channels you could ever watch. If you want to watch real news, I love watching Democracy Now! They have real news, real information, what's really happening in the world, like not just in Palestine, but in the world. And, you know, Americans, they have a distorted view or idea of what the world looks like, how they look at us here.
Yeah, no, I have to confess that I used to be one of those type of people. It wasn't until I tried working my way up to be the next, you know, Martin Scorsese, but working in the entertainment field, you see like this stuff behind the scenes. You see that, wait, this is not really news. They're making money off of commercial revenue. They need to keep you engaged to see the commercials, and they're just not really reporting, and they get money off of revenue and sponsorship to say certain things and focus on things. And it was crazy. I was like, oh, that's how it works. So I don't even see it, you know, for all the, you know, news media that have commercials and are, to me, that's just Hollywood as well. It's not even news. Since then I've been trying my best to follow like journalists who are doing actual journalism on the ground and experiencing, going to places, and eyewitnesses, and go from that, and then see where I could go. You know, independent stuff. That's like really, you got to do your homework. It's like you got to scout out them. Don't take whatever's close to you, because then if I found out sooner, I would have been in the fight a lot sooner for justice and all this. Because
most of they have an agenda. They have an agenda, and AIPAC, the Israel is running. The Zionists are running our country. They run our media. They run everything. Our government. They run it all. We have no control. You know, if you look at every, like, in government, in the media, whatever, there's a lot of Israelis in there, the Zionists, Israeli Zionists. I always want to say that because I've had people say, oh, you don't like Jews? No, I love Jews. I have one of my best friends is Jewish. Like, are you kidding me? This has nothing to do with religion, you know?
Yeah, we march with Jewish Voices for Peace. They're awesome.
Oh my gosh, they're so supporting us and they say not in our name, because they're trying to tell the world, hello, wake up. We are not for this. This is not us. This is not, you know, that's why I love, like, when I see, you know, a Jewish person standing up and saying free Palestine, oh my God, it just makes my like heart, like, just like melt, you know. Ever since it started, I feel like I'm choking, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't felt like myself. Like, I look at myself, and you look at me and you're like, oh, you know, you look fine. To me, I look at myself and I feel like I'm dead, you know?
Yeah, you
like,
smile a lot. It's hard to tell.
you know, because when you have a lot of pain, you smile. You know that saying? But I mean, I also am a positive person too, but I get through my pain with smiles, because I believe my mom taught me when I was younger, always smile, because smiles are contagious and you don't know what people are going through. So when you smile at them, you might make them smile. So I've always been like a smiler. But yeah, it's yeah, the Jewish people standing up for us. It's like the best thing ever. It literally, like, it makes my heart melt. It makes me so happy, because they are a huge part of a lot of people seeing the truth. You know what I mean? And like actually like realizing like what's happening, because them saying that is opening people's eyes every time, right? Like every time. So every time they're like, and the thing is, like, there's all this content, right? but it's not always going to the right people. It's like we need it to go to the right people, but it doesn't always.
Yeah.
I post as much as I can, and I'll be honest, I've had so much hate come back on my page. I had an old employee that I thought was cool, like we were cool, come at me and cuss at me on my page and just try to put me down and say I was spreading lies and that, just it was.
I had a former colleague like that. They came at me in a way where they were just criticizing everything I was posting, and what they were saying is like, why don't you go live there? Stuff like Hamas is killing them, Israel's not killing them, and I said, well, killing children is wrong. If you don't like what's happened, October 7th, then with those lies that they believe, then actual children being killed, and they're like, oh, that's just the way war is. And it's like, this is not a double war. Standard. No, this is not a war.
This is not a war.
That's another thing. There's all these labels and let's stick with that, labels. Like, I feel like people use this excuse of a war to excuse the repercussions of what's going on, to ignore what's going on. Like, do people actually think that all these people are caught in an even crossfire? It's like you target people's homes, people's apartments.
One side has weapons.
You target a child in a woman's arm. We've heard all the stories. That's not caught in crossfire. The drones killing those people with those bomb attacks.
Yeah. Did you see today? There's a video circulating of a little boy that threw a rock and took down.
I forgot if I tagged you in that one. Yeah.
Did I post? Down. Oh, did you tag me?
I can't remember. It's like so often.
Yeah, you can always tag me. You can always invite me to collab. Anybody that wants to collab with me, I'm trying. So, the algorithm and everything. So I'm a social media expert. I own an advertising agency. I do advertising. My life is been social media since I started my agency, and I'm constantly evolving my business to adjust to what's happening with the, social media platforms, and the algorithm is a huge thing. And so we all have seen it now. You can be censored if you don't post what they want. You could be restricted. Your account could be blocked. Your content can be hidden from people. So it's like, how do we maneuver around this? Well, I believe no matter what, we're smarter than that. I do. I really do.
No, we are. We'll find a way, because I notice when we interact and we share each other's content, even when we share stuff from Middle Eastern Eye on Palestine, Al Jazeera, it helps them. And because, we could see the interactions with ours. And I know certain posts get seen more and others don't, but then it helps one get seen. And then, the first time you and I collabed you invited me to collab on a post, a beautiful post, it reached more people. And that's why I'm trying to do these things. And I think that's a good way to reach. We have to, because then
we all must. If we stand together, we must collab. There should be no, I've seen people this is a thing when we're going through a very frustrating time, a difficult time. Sometimes it's so easy to want to argue and fight each other because you want to fight somebody, right? You're angry, and so I've noticed sometimes people are like, oh, people are using Palestine to gain followers or blah blah blah. You know what? Put that stuff aside. Let's put that stuff aside. If they've got a lot of followers, let's connect with their followers. Let's collab. Let's work together. Let's be a team. Stop this. We've already got too many people against us. Let's make sure we stick together and get this right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I agree.
And I'll throw this out. I don't know if you take clips from your shows and post them on your page to get
Actually, I should watch them. That.
Yeah. There's a AI app that or program that you can go on there and you plug in your video and it'll pull AI will find the best.
Oh no, I could just cut it out. I know where the parts are.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to say that might be a good clip. Ways that you can support on social media and help and boost the content that we want to be seen more is, of course, liking, commenting. But when you comment, it used to be simple. You could put like just a few words, but now it really wants you to like actually get, like a full sentence. So you want to, try to put full sentences and say more than just like a couple words. Sharing onto your stories, saving also lets the algorithm know that, oh, this is a cool post that's going to get us more time with these viewers, which makes them more money, because every time people stay on longer, and I try to explain this to people. Instagram is just like radio. I used to work in radio, and the commercials is what makes the radio station money. So why do radio stations try to, one, avoid having too much talking? Because if there's too much talking and it's a radio, like a music station, people are going to tune out, right? So try to put music, and then they collaborate with the other radio stations to play commercials at the same time. So people will listen. But they have this thing called Nielsen. They're able to pull reports so they can see how many people are listening, we call it weekly cum, like how many people listen in that weekly, time period and the certain times. So then they can go to advertisers and say, hey, you can advertise during this time. This is a top time, good time to advertise. It has the most listeners. And then they can sell those spots for more. So think of Instagram in that same way. So Instagram is trying to keep you on there as long as they can. That's why Instagram came out with Reels, because TikTok came in and they're like, we got to compete. All right.
Same with YouTube Shorts. That's what they did to
and there you
compete
go.
with that
That's
as
another
well.
one. Exactly. So
because they have the same thing with the comments and liking, sharing, and also the time it's been watched with people in the live chat and all that. So
yeah,
I was just adding.
No, that's exactly right. So you see what's happening, and so so what we need to do is we need to make that Palestinian content the content that is getting the most engagement, so they keep pushing it. And you got to be really careful what you're putting in your caption. So
how so? What do you mean? What careful of what?
So like you can't be putting Palestine, you can't be putting genocide. It's reading it.
Some words are flagged. That's how I got shadow banned a bunch of times, actually.
Yeah. So you got to make sure that you are like you saw in that dream how I put the @ symbol, like doing stuff like that. And it's so crazy that's like almost 2 years ago I dreamt that and I put that in there. But it was like there's little things in that of my dream that makes sense, like from the getting blocked, the content getting blocked, and then what's happening to us right now. We're getting blocked, right? So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the collaboration is going to be very powerful.
Yeah. And collaborations. Collaborations are huge, making sure that we connect with people and getting the content out there. Now, what I'm trying to do is figure out ways that we can get in front of more people that still don't believe the truth. How do we do that? Like, how do we get those people to really pay attention and see it? I wish I could just like wake up.
Yeah, it's really weird.
But it's
a while ago, I was part of a little petition to release the Snyder Cut, a director's cut of a movie. Okay. It was actually a very worldwide kind of event. A bunch of geeks got together to try and get the studio to release a director's cut of a movie. Because I don't know if you know, but a lot of director's cuts are released that way. Like some people would write letters in the 80s, 90s to the studio saying, hey, we heard an interview or conversation with the director that there's another version of this. Can we see that? But now with social media, people are able to connect and share an idea and advertise it in content they put out, sharing. So what a lot of us did is the biggest thing was Twitter at the time. There was no TikTok. So anything that we did, like a video, a podcast, or someone did a music video, or someone did artwork, they would share it on Twitter and get you in all these avenues. And then you're like, oh, what is this about? To get the conversation going. And then eventually, and then there's a whole story, a tragic story behind it too. The director's daughter committed suicide. And after he's done with principal photography, he took a break to be with family, and then the studio rushed in, reshot things, and did a whole bunch of stuff. And we were calling it like propaganda, how you just meddle with the truth and then present something else.
Yeah.
And just for entertainment, right? So because the whole idea is we were like we were for artistic integrity and mental health awareness, because the bullying online is bad. That's why people encourages some people to commit suicide. Mm-hmm. So there's meaning behind, you know, what fans wanted, but there was this gathering of people, a powerful voice. I think it was easier for people to listen to that because there were no lives on the line. There was no heavy politics to challenge people's preconceived notions and prejudices, because, you know, it's just entertainment. You know, it's not going to hurt anybody if it comes out or not. But there was a lot of passion behind it, because there was a lot of conviction, a lot of sincerity, a lot of honest goodness that was being advertised. And the fandom still got propaganda thrown at them. The Barbie movie had a joke about our fandom in it. So you get a Barbie movie that was up for the Oscars or something, and they still had slander in it after the fact the movie came out and it was successful. And they still didn't promote it. So they were still hesitant, angry. So I'm bringing all this up because as far as people getting together to do something, I look at what we did. I thought it was huge and impossible. And it's like, wow, you know, sky's the limit. But I have a little story of how I came to understand what was going on in Palestine. But when I found out what was going on in Palestine, I looked at everything that we did as geeks and all that. And I was like, that was kind of actually like preschool or kindergarten compared to right now, when lives are on the line and there's propaganda being put together to continue this genocide, to continue this occupation, to continue slaughtering innocent people so a state can build and thrive and expand. So what you were saying about people coming together, I kind of experienced that, but now I feel like it's more important, and the stacks are harder and higher, and the stakes are intensely worse, in the sense that lives are on the line daily. People are dying this very minute, and it drives me crazy.
No, it's really bad. It's
so
really
when we
bad
come together,
it's
we'll
been bad the whole time, but the past few days, they went psycho. They're like going psycho right now. They're just like, people are just running, and they're coming in everywhere, and they've got the what do they call them? It's not a helicopter. What do they call it? Something copter.
Drones.
Yeah, but there's a different name for it. I forgot what they call it. But yeah, but it's like a drone, but they call it something copter. And yeah, they've got the drones, but they got, I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. The tanks are coming in, but yeah, go ahead. So
no. Yeah, I feel you, sister. It's just so what you were saying about how can we get to other people, the most difficult thing is like, well, two things. I don't think we can teach people to learn. We can encourage people to come to class, but everyone's got to do their own homework, right? And so I feel like if we're going to be like a troll, toxic, like I heard someone was complaining about someone who went to a Starbucks, went to everyone's face and said, you shouldn't be here because there's a genocide going on. The person's right, but how they're going about it, in my opinion, is wrong.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Their action is wrong. Their point of view is right, but what they're doing,
they
is
have
wrong.
good intentions,
but bad execution.
You got to be a little bit smarter. How are you going to deal with people? Do you think that going up to them and saying that to them is going to make them want to leave?
No, that'll close someone off. No, like, if someone gets in your face, it's like, yo, I'm good to whatever it is, you're gonna shut down.
I'm gonna come here every day now because you pissed me off, because that's how people are. They always want to do the opposite. So you can't do things like that, you know. And you know, God bless these people for caring so much that they think that their anger coming out like that makes a difference, but it really doesn't. It really, it honestly, it hurts the Palestinians. It makes us look bad. It drives me crazy because I'll see like people at protest, and they'll start like, you know, maybe the Israeli side, you know, whatever, they come over, the occupation side comes over, and they're like trying to like, you know, argue and fight. And then you see somebody yelling at them like, oh, you're a piece of crap and blah, 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 you know, and you know, I've seen that happen, and I've been like, hey, I don't know if you're Palestinian, but I am. Please do not represent, don't represent my people like that. We are peaceful people, and those people can yell at us, but we know better. We're not going to yell back at them. We're not going to put our energy. We're going to put our energy into good to let people know that we need your support. Please back us up.
Mm-hmm.
We've been fighting for so long for normal peace that most people get. We are an indigenous people. We're going through the same thing that the Native Americans went through. The settlers came in and they took the land, and they killed as many of, the Native Americans as they could to take the land for the resources, for the money. And the same thing's happening to us in Palestine. And it's been happening. The Nakba was the worst, the beginning of the worst for us, for the Palestinians. And it hasn't stopped. Then you got 1967. And then, and it's been just very consistent. There's always been stuff. And the thing is, let's talk about Hamas. Why don't we talk about Hamas? Wait, are you down to talk about Hamas?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to do more research on this. So don't quote anything I say if you guys are watching, but I would love
quote everything she's saying right now.
So from my understanding, from my understanding, you've got Gaza. That's fact.
Mm-hmm.
You got West Bank. That's a fact, right? So it's two different areas on each side of what now is Israel, mostly because they've taken over everything, right? So you got this little Gaza Strip. You got the West Bank, where you got Jerusalem and everything. And there was two different groups that were created to like political parties. And it was influenced by Israel to create one in each area. Do you know why? Have you heard about that?
No, I'm still learning.
Okay. So they did that because, first of all, it divides the people. So they want the people to be divided. It divides the people, and it allows, it's just conflict. Whenever there's division, it's conflict.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, West Bank has their, political party, and that stands for them. And then you've got Hamas. So Israel helped fund Hamas.
That I know.
Part
yeah.
of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's so funny that they act like,
Was it 1987 they were formed?
That I don't know, so I don't want to say yes or no. Okay. But it was formed, and it was, formed with the assistance and guidance and help of Israel. They wanted it. So right now, this whole war against Hamas, right? That's they're calling it, the war against Hamas. Well, if that's the truth, why are they going into the West Bank? Why are they kidnapping people? Why are they killing people in the West Bank? Why are they doing that? You know what I mean? And that's where I think people need to start really opening their eyes and recognizing what's really happening, because they're too busy being brainwashed by the news that they're not recognizing what's happening on the other side that has no Hamas, right? And that's a big thing. That really goes to show how disgusting these people are, and what they're the animals. They're the terrorists. They're the true terrorists. They've been terrorizing the Palestinians for so long. And the Palestinians, all they wanted to do was have a good heart and let these people come. Why? Because they were being killed and murdered. They wanted to help them. They were like, okay, yeah, let them come here. And what happens?
Yeah. They're like, well, live peacefully. It's been done before to live peacefully. But I also see, like, politically, for the agenda to fund him, to fund the genocide, having a scapegoat or a reason, just like, oh, this is the problem. It simplifies everyone's mind to go, okay, they're the bad guys. My homework's done. I don't need to try anymore. I don't need to understand anymore. Especially having the shock of the misinformation about October 7th fuel this hatred and stuff. See, I had this blessing of going on a trip with my family. We took a cruise up, from Seattle to Alaska. I was like, I want to see some Northern Lights. Yeah. But it was like raining, and it was like raining and everything. Everything was foggy. I didn't see no Northern Lights, I just had to look at a flashlight or something. But I spent time with my family, and that was great. But for me, it was a good break with a lot of stress I was going through. So connecting with family, getting away, being around nature, seeing some whales, it was beautiful, And I used to drink then, so I had a lot of fun there. But I really connected with family. But before I left, see, we left on October 7th. And I jumped on Facebook just to kill time because it takes forever to get on the boat to get to your room and all this stuff. And then you pay for Wi-Fi and it's not really that good. So you're like, oh my gosh, it takes even longer. And I saw one of my friends post something about something that happened in, Israel. And then she was devastated and all that. I was barely getting in the information. And, I didn't know what to say. I was just say, hey, hang in there. People did wrong. They'll get to the people who did the wrong. Have faith. Things will work out, whatever. And then the next day I looked up, it was like, okay, what happened in the world, right? What's going on? And the first thing I saw was the story of the beheaded babies was they couldn't verify it.
Yeah.
Like it was debunked the next day. I was like, oh, great. That horrible thing did not happen.
No,
Phew.
and it spread
then after
like
that,
a wildfire.
But here's what's crazy. That was October 8th. So on October 8th, I was like, oh, cool. I'll just coast, because the worst thing actually didn't happen. It was a mistake. Cool. So I just ignored the world, enjoyed my family, all this. Then while we were coming back down, I got better Wi-Fi as we're going close to the coast and all that. I started seeing, for the last 3 days, it was like a week trip, I started seeing the devastation in Palestine. I was like, whoa, the settlers are going crazy. Because I knew a little bit, but not enough to delve in. Yeah. And then when I was seeing everything that was going on, by the time we docked, I was catching up because I had an hour to kill. I was just in my, my what is it, room, whatever they call it, lodge,
cabin.
God, thank you. So the cabin.
I've been on a cruise.
It was my first, so I was like new. So I was in my cabin just catching up on everything. It was like 45 minutes. I was catching up on what's going on. I was like, whoa, they're attacking civilians. Why? So then as I got to the airport, had more Wi-Fi, another 2 hours because, I had to wait 6 hours for my flight. Again, just waiting. That day, I caught up on everything. The Nakba, what's been going on. The last 75 years, I was able to do that on my own. I didn't watch any news. I just researched. This stuff has been out there for a while. People have been protesting for years. I was like, where have I been? I've been under this dome of entertainment being like, oh, Superman's the greatest. He fights, all this stuff, superheroes, comic books, whatever, action movies. Yeah. All these themes are good versus evil. Then evil's in the world. And I'm like, why isn't everyone becoming Superman right now? Supermen and women. We need to stop this. And the world just changed. It's like, it was just weird. You see how everyone's kind of like comfortably numb. That's what I want to say. Comfortably numb to what's going on. That is crazily horrific. Because I connected with my family. I love my niece like she's my own kid. I helped raise her. And the first video I saw was the guy holding his daughter, yelling, doing the peace sign, like, we will be victorious. That's etched into my mind and everything since. And people just have like some passive opinion, like, no one should support Hamas. Or, oh, Hamas is doing it. Oh, it's a war. Things happen. So casually, like they don't care. And it's driving me nuts. Still is to this day. I've gotten used to it, to where I'm used to being bothered, but I can handle myself better. I'm not like, what's going on to everybody? But still, I'm like, what's going on? It's crazy. And I see the effects of being distracted by things that are not important, being
that's how they get us. That's how they get us distracted, so they can do what they need to do to get their money and get their land and get their stuff that they want. Because for some reason, they just want every freaking dollar in the world. You know what I mean? They want everything. Like, it's just this group of people, these elites or whatever, and like Epstein and all that stuff, that was a way for them to control them because they had them they were doing the worst things, right? And then if they didn't want anybody to know, they had to just do whatever they were told to do. So all these people are freaking like handcuffed, right? They got to listen. They got to do, like, it's crazy on these celebrities and stuff. That's why a lot of celebrities aren't speaking up, because they're probably pedophiles and they freaking are on that list, or they, you know what I mean? And they're trying, like, if they go against Israel, like P. Diddy, I'm sure, I don't know what happened with that's a whole nother story, dude.
I got a long story about that. Going back to the 90s as a fan.
And then I listened to his songs and he like.
I don't think it came out of nowhere. A lot of stuff are distractive. There's always some big story distracting. And then people try and
everything. This is crazy. We live in a freaking made up world. We're living in a made up world. And like, you know, it's funny because I've been like I started following Andrew Tate, and then like, you know, I'll post stuff and people will be like, oh, but I heard he manipulates women and he does this. And I'm like, I heard that he tells them straight up, like, this is what you want. If you want to do this, we could do this together. We could make a lot of money, but this is how it's going to be, whatever. He's like straightforward, but they've tried to manipulate who he is and how he seems to people because he speaks the truth. And he doesn't back down. And can I tell you something? When I ran for mayor, you want to know what happened with me? Because I was speaking the truth and I was, you know, standing up for what's right. I had a smear campaign. And just so you know, if you want to believe what they said, I'm a druggie, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a bad person, I'm a Hamas supporter in the sense of like I want all Jews dead. This is the smear campaigns that they ran on me so they can accomplish their agenda. So, you know, it's crazy. So it really
I believe it. Again, back to that Snyder Cut stuff, you know, there's a lot of fame amongst fans. I had a smear campaign on me on YouTube. There's some stuff where people said I did this. I was part of this infighting and I
believe it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No,
but it's crazy because to me it was a big wake-up call of the lengths people will go just even for fame, just even for clicks. Like a lot of us are not making a lot of money off of this stuff. We shouldn't, because in my opinion it was charitable to help an artist. And but some people got fame, their YouTube numbers went up, my Twitter account did go up in follows, but it wasn't really for that. But other people, you know, may not be for riches, but they like fame just as equally as riches. There's something of value. People aren't afraid to attack or slander another person to help
or
their
bring
content,
somebody down,
their fame. Yeah, they think if you bring someone, it's like only you know, in boxing,
can be successful, like
like in boxing, the mentality of being a champion in boxing is like, okay, this fighter beat so and so of this caliber. If I beat them, that means I also beat and own all their caliber below. So when people fight over fame, clout, clicks, content, followers, views, it's the same type of thing. It's like, oh, this person has this, I beat them, so I'm over here. And a lot of times people do it because they just want to be a good person in the view, and to look like a good person, you need a villain. So they slander someone to elevate themselves. And sometimes people, one of them, I've had 3 do this to me. One of them did it because they refused to apologize for racially attacking me. And so it was a slander campaign for like 2 years. They still might be doing it now. And just for fame, just for a little bit of fame on YouTube or social media. Now, just for something small like that, that doesn't even pay your rent on a bigger scale, I don't even have to imagine. I see what people are doing with slander just to kill people, to get fame, riches, money, land, all this stuff. The lengths people will go through is to
step on each other. It's like they're using people's heads as steps to get up, right? Like I envision it like that. Like that's what I say. Like people just stepping on.
That's pretty gory.
Head after it, right? You know, just to get up. This is not what humanity is about. This is not what being a human being is about.
No, that's what the devil wants. That's what I'm telling you.
Exactly. The devil and the devil is running our country. The devil is running the world right now. And this
manipulation,
is why
corruption, slaughtering people, the murder of children.
Can you believe it? I still can't believe that's happening.
I can't believe it. I reject it.
I like it just,
but it's happening.
Yeah. It is.
Ooh. Man.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's like hard to really soak in. Like, you know, I just, you know, and we're just sitting here looking at these videos. Like we're on the other side. These poor babies. Do you see the videos where they're like, please save us. I don't want to die.
I see so many of them. Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm like, I'm ready to go. Send me there, somebody. Please.
Yeah, I was kind of
People are
jealous.
like, why don't you go there? You know, I post stuff. Why don't you just go there? And I'm like, will you send me? Do you know how I can get there? Please.
Yeah, can you help?
I'll go.
Like, I wanted to go on the flotilla, you know?
Oh, what happened with that? I never saw
I don't
what
know.
happened.
Last I heard, it was stuck somewhere because I tried to follow Code Pink, but because they were really strong and because I think one of the leaders or one of the people of Code Pink we see a lot, the Jewish woman. I thought she was on it. Last I saw, she got a report where they were like docked somewhere and they're just looking for legal papers to get there. But I haven't heard anything. All I've heard and
that's the
seen
last
was
thing.
the aid trucks being raided. The aid trucks, where all the food's been thrown away and everything. It's like you saw the ones today, right?
Yeah, I saw the food is rotten.
For you viewers, this is May 13th that we're recording this, just so you know.
Oh yeah.
But,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, let them know.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see, today, because so right now I'm in Las Vegas. My mom had surgery, so I'm here with her for the a few days, taking care of her. So while I'm taking care of her, this is actually like a little bit of time where I'm just like really have a lot of time to scroll and see what's going on, because I don't know, you don't always have that time, right? So today, I mean, I probably spent maybe like 5 hours straight, just like scrolling, seeing, sharing, liking, commenting, saving, you know what I mean? Like kind of doing like my duty as a human being, as, a humanitarian, as a Palestinian, to help, to do whatever I could. I made a bunch of videos. I'm creating some different collabs with some people that have a lot of followers, so we can like really like create stuff that goes viral. What my goal right now is, because of my social media expertise and experience, I'm trying to think out of the box. I'm trying to do things that are going to reach people that are not getting reached. So they can like hear things and read things that they wouldn't normally. So I'll tell you something. One of my strategies on my page is I'll put like a video of me like looking really cute, you know what I mean? Like at the gym, or like I was at the Renaissance. But I did that. Like I don't necessarily want to do that right now. It doesn't feel right, but I know that I'm doing right. And what does that mean is I'm affecting the algorithm. And I'll post videos of Palestine and I'll get like 300 views, 400 views. And I'm like, I need to kick it up. So I'll be like, okay, let me think of something I can do. I'm going to be at the Renaissance Fair. Let me get a video and I'll post it. And, but guess what? I get 500 likes or whatever it is. I get 10,000 views, and all of a sudden my next videos spike. You see? So there's a strategy behind everything that I do. And it's
You're also a pretty lady, I can't be like, hey guys, I don't think I'm gonna get the same results, probably like 5
you
dudes
don't know.
be like, yo, bro,
you can be like at the gym, like lifting weights, look at my muscles. No, but you could, but you know what I mean? But like, think of things that will get people's attention. So maybe something funny, right? Like maybe you don't necessarily want to go off of, your looks. You can be like,
I wear a mask on most of my stuff. Yeah. So that's where I look cute, But no, I feel you, because what I was doing was continuing my gaming entertainment content and just do Palestine stuff. But every now and then I get so emotional, I just got to share it. And then I see the algorithm drops with me.
You see?
Yeah. So you are right. It's just because I got the job and I got so much to do, but then I just can't help but just, because there's this part of me, I was like, look at this evidence. Isn't this enough to wake you up?
Yes.
The other thing I was saying earlier is like, we can't teach people to learn. We can only offer, to share knowledge or whatever, or where to get knowledge, or where to look or read or see a documentary and this stuff. But another difficult thing is we can't teach other people to care. We can't teach empathy. So back when we were talking about getting in people's face, like, hey, you shouldn't go here, support Palestine, then they shut off.
Yeah.
What I do is, and please correct me or help give advice, I don't mind. What I'm doing is like, fetch art. This is from his page.
Yeah.
His official thing. I bought this. This is not a knockoff. I saw he liked one of your things. So if he's watching this, I bought like 3 of his content.
I was communicating with him today. We're trying to do
good.
collab.
I love his work. So
so amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, I gave him good $80 for the all this stuff. So he had a sale
I need to order something from him.
Yeah. So the thing is, I want to decorate everything I'm doing like with something Palestine on the side, because I care more about people's sincerity and willingness to know the truth. Because even I talk with some friends who know what I do, who know my stance very well and respect it, but some are still dismissive because they're not sure. Yeah. They're still in their little well, I don't want to say little in a negative way. They're still subscribing to another narrative that's incomplete about what's going on. That's the nicest way I could put it. Yeah. And so they know they have access to talk to me about anything, and I'll tell them what's going on. And I've seen a change in the way of like, oh, that's what's going on. And some people who see it will come to me and like, hey, and then they'll talk more, and other people listen. So I like the sincerity, but it feels slow, but I can't force it, because if I force it, people will shut down. Yeah. Because I really care that people open their hearts and minds to what's actually going on, because if everyone does that, we can free Palestine. If everyone does that, we can stop genocide. If everyone does that, no innocent man, woman, and child need to be murdered for the glory and greed of a state that's expanding.
Yes. Yes. And like you can open a door for somebody, but you can't make them go through it, right? So it's kind of one of those things like when you talk about it and you're explaining, to who you can, who's willing to listen, you're opening that door. They want to come in and talk more about it and learn more. The door's open. You know what I mean? And that alone is a huge, part to it makes us Palestinians feel like good. You know what I mean? At least like there is that opportunity, you know what I mean, there for people. So you're trying, and you can't get mad at yourself, or, you know what I mean? We're doing everything that we can, right? We're doing everything that we can. And so it's tough. It's tough. And I even, I posted on somebody's video today. I don't know the video. Oh my God. Today I was on social media way too long today.
No, I noticed, I take work breaks every now and then, like, and then, just like, whoa, catch up.
Yeah. I had like some guy on there that started talking crap to me. I posted something about like, I ran for mayor. Like I actually tried to make a difference. And then he started talking crap to me. And I don't know. I normally don't like talk crap back, but I had to say something, because he was like, oh, you don't care about the babies that got killed. And it was like, that was debunked. Get over yourself, and if it was true, who would go kill more babies to make it better? And then I said, you sick F word.
Because you can't even say it. Oh,
I don't want, like, I tried
no.
And I didn't spell it out. I put F star.
Wow. I do that too sometimes, when I post something like F star. Yeah, or one star, and then I spell the rest because I feel that rebellious.
Yeah, I was really rebellious. Hey,
wow, you just went through a dark path there.
You just gotta let it out,
with stars.
Stars. I wanted him to know I was angry, because it's just so frustrating, and like I was in a mood today. I don't know. I was in a mood. I was like, I'm so tired of this. Like something needs to change. Yeah. And then I posted on another post something about everybody that knows this is wrong, let's go over there. Everybody catch a flight and let's go there. What are they going to do when millions of people are tearing the walls down?
Whoa.
What are they going to do? They're going to shoot us all. They can only shoot so many of us. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people I'll just freaking go. You know what I mean? Like, imagine all over the world, how many millions of people have protested? Let's all go there.
I have to say, I like that idea way more than holding a festival. I've seen a few attempts. I've seen two attempts to have a music festival for it, and I feel that's wrong.
No, we don't need music.
We don't need to celebrate nothing. We need to shut it down.
Okay, we need to show them who's boss, and the humans are boss. We're done with these people that only care about their money and their land and their oil and their resources. It is time for us to stand up. You know, I'll be the leader of the revolution. I don't care. Let's go.
I'm down. I'm just like,
let's go.
What's in my bank
ready
account?
To go. Let's go to Egypt. Let's go to Lebanon. Let's go to Jordan. Let's freaking surround the place. What the heck? I mean, like, I don't know. At this point, I'm telling you, every day I'm solution-oriented person. So like when a problem,
that's a great idea though. Could you imagine everybody, imagine everyone who protests in the world was able to fly to Jordan and go there.
And a lot of people could get into Israel too, to be honest. There's a lot of people that could get in there because they wouldn't know. And get in. I know, it's crazy. Maybe we shouldn't post this. They're probably already listening. Shit.
They're like, and then on YouTube there's all transcripts.
Okay, just in case. Hey, you know what?
What's that?
You got to do something. Something's got to change.
Any idea? Because you like you said, we're at wit's end. What can we do to stop killing innocent people? It's astounding that that's the problem. You know?
Yeah. So I also want to like throw this out to people out there that, you know, that are watching that want to know like other little ways, like, you know, how there's the apps so you don't spend money with companies that are funding, blocking the celebrities, doing stuff like that. That's great. But also I took it to another level.
What's that?
Okay. So I actually I have avoided paying as much taxes as I can in certain areas. Like, what do you mean? I made all my employees contractors. They know what to do. I sent them home. I said,
I see what you mean.
They're all contractors now. So, and I'm teaching them how to write everything off.
I see what you mean.
We gotta think a little bit, you know, differently. Sometimes
I gotta talk to my boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's interesting.
No, that was like, you
brilliant.
Yeah. Cutting every way. Like, I don't spend money like I used to. I used to love to like shop, and you know, now I'm like, I'm just like trying to get used to like using whatever I have. Like, you know what I mean? If I don't need, and it sucks because like, you know, some of the brands that are my favoriteest brands turned out to be genocide supporting brands.
Me too, because I admit I was big on the junk food for a while, but this has kind of cleaned my ways.
That's good.
I've been cooking more at home and all that, or I'm just so lazy. Too. I'm like, I'm just not going to eat right now, or whatever. And then I have cereal.
Have you lost weight since this started?
No, not really, because when I eat a lot all at once. Okay. So I got this bloating thing. So like 4 months, 5 months pregnant every now and then. I'm glad the camera is just on this side. My shoulders are good, but down here, it's not. I call it Gertrude. That's her name.
You're funny.
So yeah, it's just one big one pack. So
but yeah, there's a lot.
It's crazy how like we were saying about influence and all these companies and how they get their money. And also thanks to these student protests, we found out that there's a lot of money going to Israel and they get free education there, while our American people and our future, our youth of the nation, have to, you know, have like pay off their like student loan in like 15, 20 years, all this stuff going on. And they were also protesting to know exactly where their money is being allocated. Yeah. See, we were not knowing where all this money is going, you know, how much is needed, how much is extra, what are they doing with that extra? And it's just crazy. So these student protests this is where I feel like the powers that be, the government really needs to turn a new leaf, because in the long run, it's like all the evidence is out. Yeah. You can't take back all the evidence that people have seen, people are in denial of. And the more this is going on, the more it's exposing people. Because even when, it was like what? Some of the right-wing representatives and news reporters, because Biden held one shipment. He held one shipment of many of arms to Israel. They're like, oh, he's been working with Hamas the whole time. It's like any angle that they throw at us now is even more BS, and we could see more through the lies.
Yeah,
and
we
it's
can see
making them
it.
look even bad, and it's being recorded on record. This is not going to look good in the long run. If they continue to do this, it's going to look more like a joke.
And people need to understand that Biden right now, he's trying to look good. It is election year. So once he's realizing that his numbers are going down, that he's not getting the support he needs to win, he's going to act like he's doing things to make the citizens, the residents, the people happy. But he's not doing it for any reason other than to get the vote.
And so we've seen really how he tries at anything. We've seen how he tries even using a sentence. It's not going to work well for him.
This guy can't even like stand up straight. Like he's fallen over. He honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he's drugged and he's being like, he's just a puppet. You know what I mean? Like there can be so much more to it. We don't know. This world is effed up. It is effed up. And there's so much stuff happening that we don't realize. And so people need to start opening up their eyes. They really need to really, really see what's going on. First of all, have peace in your heart. Have peace with with your loved ones. Like this is really important. We need to make sure that we are good, because this world is trying to make us not be good. The social media stuff, nowadays, like everybody's like got to have like the plastic surgeries and the, men, if you're not driving, a Lamborghini, you've got, you're not, great or good. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I feel that my Honda Civic, I roll up nowhere.
So, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, we're not enough. They want you to feel like you're not enough. And that's why suicide rates have gone up. Children are not happy. People are struggling. And
you're not complete if you don't have this. You're not complete if you have this. I even, I signed up for like a dating service like 5 years ago for Orange County. And they're like, where they,
Tinder?
They have a matchmaker. What?
I said Tinder.
No. That I don't think you need to sign up real quick for that or real long. This one you had to pay for, and then someone's going to match you with someone else. But I was making like 5,000 less than their requirement, and they're like, "Oh no, sorry, we promised to our women high quality men," and I was like, I just signed up to get rejected before I can make a profile. So I don't know. It's just there is this scale where I feel as a man, going through all this stuff, that there's always this level of you're not enough.
Sorry. I'm so sorry. My sister, hold on.
Quick pause, ladies and gentlemen. And we're back. All right, thank you. Matchmaker story. Oh yeah. No, that was it. That was the end of the matchmaker story. And to the point where there's always this like weird level of scale of getting rejected. Like you're never enough unless you have this product, unless you achieve this, unless you have this one, then you're qualified. And then even if you're there, there's always another stipulation where you're like, oh no, you need more. Get this package. It's like this, this huge consumerism level that they ingrain in your mind where you just give more money out to them. And it's not your self-worth.
And can I tell you, like, the life in Gaza? It's such a simple life. You know what I mean? Like you do have like your different levels of people, because there's like doctors and, they had educated people, they had the poor, but it was still like very simple in the sense, because they were closed off from the world. They've got a wall surrounding them. It was hard to get in and out. And so they all live this like very more simple life. And it might seem like, oh my God, who'd want to live that? But honestly, it seems like it'd be more peaceful, more loving. Look at them. They're getting bombed. They're getting terrorized. And they're still coming out of it and saying, God is good. Like, man, my heart breaks for them.
Yeah, the strong ones make my heart break even more. Yeah. I mean, they're all strong. I'm not trying to say no one's weak or anything, but a lot of them are breaking down, PTSD. I've seen so many people cry on the daily, and and then there was this other video. I'm pretty sure you saw it. It was like around today or yesterday. This little girl was like, "I'm not scared. I'm with my family. I'm not leaving home." And I was like breaking down, you know. I gotta watch these things like where no one can see me, but it's like, it's heavy, it's hard, and it's still astounding me how so many people are dismissive of it. Again, I go back to that because that's why I'm in shock. It's like, how do you not feel for other people? Especially when it's blatant that there's an injustice going on. Like this far, it's been what, 7-8 months now?
Getting close to 8 months.
Yes. And it feels like everyone has access to the information at ease now, yet there's still not enough people who care. Like I saw for Mother's Day, there was protesters on the street, and she was saying for Mother's Day, this is, and she's spilling her heart out, and you just see people walking by casually, not caring. And for some reason that bothered me again, because I was like, it's like, are people used to not caring? I don't know.
Well, look at the media, look at the movies, look what it shows. It shows people getting slaughtered, killed. Like the movies that our children are watching now, is
like getting desensitized to the violence.
Exactly, that's the word. Desensitized. Everybody's becoming that way,
or even that what I've noticed is, since there was less violence, like, I grew up on old school stuff like He-Man, and there was always action, but then there was always like a lesson throughout the episode, and they'd address something more, so you left with something of like, I appreciated that as over the top and goofy and whatever it was. But when things started getting censored in the early 90s, I started seeing more things of propaganda being going in, and also less stories of good versus evil and more comedy, and then more laughing at situations and not taking things seriously. Like there's so many. So I feel like even from the news of the wording of like there was a story where a 7-year-old girl was shot dead in a car because a bullet hit the car and hit her. 7 years old, and the news here said a young woman instead of, a little girl. Like the wording used all around is all, there's this narrative war.
Try to make it seem like it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I feel like there's this narrative war, this desensitization going on too, that so many people are kind of accustomed to, that fits a narrative to where when they see something, they don't care. Like I had this discussion with a friend earlier today. I love my friends. We all have these, like, are
they all gamers? Are all your friends gamers?
No. There's a mix of us, actually. Some are into sports and all that, but some of us are so different. It makes no sense while we're friends sometimes, but we've just been through stuff and we tolerate each other, so there's peace there. But one was like very he's saying, I'm sick of terms like Nazi or white supremacist, and he says those things don't exist because those words have been washed out. I was like, okay, I understand, like false accusations, I understand that. And but what do you say when those people do exist and do show up and ruin things? Since you don't believe it happens, when it happens, you're already programmed to be dismissive of it because you're like, oh, that's not a thing, that's just a jerk, or something like that. So it's just really weird how there's this numbing reaction people have to something. They're like, oh, well, it's just horrible in the Middle East, that's how they die, and then they accept it. Oh, it's just a war, I accept it. Oh, it's or even the false thing, oh, it's Hamas killing their own people and they just want to take over the whole world. Like they're accepting these things instead of the actual truth and facts that are very, very, very available, which is why I'm trying to advertise to everybody that you can catch up.
And look at like movies too, how it's always portrayed Arabs to be terrorists and bad people. And look at it, like, all the different things that they've tried to put in the heads of the world about Arabs. So this is very obvious that they've been wanting people to not like Arabs, to look at Arabs like in a negative light, or in a negative way. And ultimately they want to come in. There's this whole territory of land with lots of resources, lots of money, and Palestine is their way in. And they've been planning this for who knows how long. And now we're at a very pivotal point where either the world stands up for what's right and stops it, or these mofos are going to come in and they're going to get their new world order, and they're going to get that one world, and life will never be the same again.
No, I think I believe that's happening, because if you look at the speed of things. So the speed of like sending money after that misinformation of October 7th. I'm not dismissing the actual horrors that did happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
Double Down News had a really good. Yeah, there's a lot of reports. You can see exactly
Israelis,
what happened.
like that, residents that said that they saw the Israeli helicopters shooting at the festival.
Yeah, they're the ones that laid down, destroyed all those cars.
Yeah,
and there's even footage of it too.
Hamas. No,
it wasn't. And
it's all propaganda, all lies.
Yeah, but they dropped that first, and then got Americans very angry, wild
up, huh?
So that no one would blink an eye when we send enough money or a lot of money over there to start this Nakba 2 that they were advertising 2 years prior. And now that things are coming out, I feel like they're trying to speed up the process to where if they get their goal of killing every single man, woman, and child in Gaza, then they can start making their stupid utopia. And then they, after that, can rewrite history, because they, in their minds, have won. Because I feel like now the Palestinians, to them, are a nuisance, because the Palestinians there in Gaza are more not just a nuisance, but they're the witnesses, they're the evidence. And I feel that
proof.
The terrorist state of Israel is just trying to get rid of the evidence.
The evidence, and you
that's
know,
what I think.
So like some of the reasons, like, you know, like for example, like they want to take the land because they want to build their resort land, like resorts. They've got
precious gas.
I saw in Canada they were like promoting like, oh, buy land in Israel, beachfront land or something. Like they were having an event about buying.
Well, they're having some events here in America too. You've seen those?
Oh no, don't even tell me that. I will go and protest. And then you know, you do what you can, right? And then they've got the canal. So if they can get rid of the Gazans and get rid of the people there, they're able to build a canal that will save Israel a lot of money, because of the, you know, export, import, and all that stuff. The ships go through. Well, now they can open that up, and instead of, I think Egypt's the country right now that's making all the money off a canal that everybody goes through. They'll open their own canal, and now they're going to make billions every year. So now, why do you think America jumped on too? Like, you know, there's so many things, like it all comes together. You know what I mean?
I feel like they see all those profits, you know, again, the guns, oil, and dollars. No, the gas, oil, and dollars, or what did I say? Guns,
and then there's gas, and then there's gas under Gaza too.
I see they're looking at that and salivating at that, and not really caring about the humans, the human beings there.
No, it has nothing to do. We're just ants. Like that's how he explains people. We are just ants to them. These elites, the Rothschilds and the, you know, those guys. They've got all.
This is all them, all together.
That's the you know, and for example, like this was something that I got familiar with when I was running, is bonds. You know about what a bond is when it comes to like if you see a bill and they want to pass a bill or proposition, and it's like it says in there like they want to get a bond for, you know, $6 billion that's going to, you know, help. Like we had Prop 1 and they wanted to get a bond for like $6 billion to create facilities for the homeless that will help them with mental health. But what people don't understand, do you think they really care about the mental health of the homeless? No, they don't. What's going to happen is they borrow that $6 billion as a bond from those elites. And guess what? The elites get interest. And that's why it's haram in Islam to pay interest, to have a credit card pay any interest. You know that, right? I'm sure.
Yes, I do.
And so it's haram because you're not supposed to pay somebody for that. You know what I mean? Like, there's more to it, but I don't know, like, all the details.
No, you're right. You're
right. But yeah, so like basically we get this $6 billion bond, and then we end up owing $14 billion to whoever loaned it to us. Who loaned it to us? The ones making all the money all the time anyways. And like we're sending all this money, but aren't we, our country, struggling with money? Aren't we
it's the figures was around 175, 174. Don't quote me on that. It's that ballpark of billions of dollars that
we're in debt
has been sent.
Or
while we're in debt. All that money.
And we're in debt, right? But guess what? We're going to owe, and this is why people understand. The inflation is going to keep happening. Things are going to cost more money. They're going to add more fees and bills, and, you know, they're going to tax everything. Like, oh, we got to tax you for breathing. Oh, wait, you breathe more than like 10 breaths a minute? Oh, we're going to have to tax you extra for that. You know what I mean?
Especially at the gym. You're on the treadmill, there'll be a receipt.
Yeah. Speaking of the gym, the first time I ever recognized propaganda, and I didn't even know that it was called propaganda at the time. Oh. I was 21. I was at 24 Fitness. So the day I turned 18, I started going to the gym. Like, I got a membership, love the gym. I go every day. I went today. I'm all about the gym. And I was there. I was running on the treadmill. And there was a news report on CNN about, and it says, Palestinians attacking Israelis. And I look up and I'm like, look at the screen. And I'm like, that's not what I see. But only I wouldn't, right? I'm the Palestinian, right?
Yeah. What did they have on the screen?
Yeah. What I saw was the freaking Israelis chasing the Palestinians in the video, in the footage that said Palestinians attacking Israelis. And it was the Israelis chasing the Palestinians, and they were running.
Oh my God.
And I'm not a quiet person. If I have something to say.
No, good. You shouldn't be quiet.
Yeah. Especially when it's truth. I will not ever, nobody will ever shut me up. You know, if I have to speak the truth. And I looked up, I looked around, I said, that's a lie. I looked at everybody around me. I was like, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. I was like, that's not right. I was like, I'm Palestinian. I was like, that's Israel. Like, I started telling everybody around me. I did not care. I was so bothered. But I didn't even know that was called propaganda. I didn't know, you know what I mean? I was young. I was 21. I was, you know, I didn't understand. But that was like the first time that I saw propaganda, and I was like, wow, like, people are being fooled.
It's crazy. It's funny you say that, because today on Twitter, I even saw someone share a video of and in the video, this guy with a gun with a mask starts shooting at some Palestinians, and the person in the video said, look, Hamas is killing their own people. But the guy with the gun was a settler with a mask. He didn't have any of the Hamas garb or any of it, because they're very specific in how they wear things and how they, you know, are geared up. Yeah. And it was a legit settler with the Israeli grade guns that they gave out to settlers for free, like, you know, a few months ago, or probably still are now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, look, this is proof. Oh, it is crazy, the amount of propaganda that is out there, even with actors and all that supporting it.
And that's why you have so many people fooled and not standing on the right side of history right now, right? So many people fooled, brainwashed. And it is the saddest thing ever to even believe that people would think it's okay to kill innocent people and children for any reason. Over 35,000 people have been killed, and displaced over almost all of them now. No, it was
because they still haven't found enough the people under the rubble too.
No, there's tons. No, there's
it's probably around like 40,000 or 45.
Oh, it's I'm sure them. I wouldn't be surprised if it's double that, because you got to imagine some of those. You know, that it was like a few months ago where they just destroyed that whole like neighborhood. and it was like just flattened out. And see, that's the thing, they're coming in and they're flattening it out, and they even say we're flattening it out. You know, why are they flattening it out? Because they just want to take the land and build their own places. Like, how do people not see this?
Right. And they were saying it's take like $40 to $50 billion to rebuild Gaza. And with the amount of money America's been sending them, they have that.
Yep. Can we pause for a second?
Yes. Un momento. And we're back.
All right.
So.
But oh yeah, so we were talking about, you said something about rebuilding Gaza. So yes. I was thinking about doing something, and this might be something else that we can start doing, is I want to start like a GoFundMe that's Rebuild Gaza, and people just start donating into this fund. And that way, when things, because it's going to end, Palestine will be free. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is going, like, it's going to change. Things are going to change. Palestine will be free, and the Palestinian people will have their land, and they will have the best lives they've ever had. And unfortunately, like, this had to happen. And why did it happen to the Palestinians? Because they are the strongest people. When I told my dad, I called my dad like within a couple of weeks of it happening. I said, Baba, I was like, what's happening? What's going on? And I was crying. And he's like, look, Baba. Arabic, we call each other. I call him Baba. He calls me Baba. Like, Baba. Yeah. But he's like, Baba, he's like, they are the strongest people. If this was going to happen to anybody, those Palestinians, Baba, they can take it. They're going to stand with God, and they're the strongest. And he's like, don't worry. This is part of it. Like, it says it in the Quran. This is meant to happen. And, you know, if you believe in Islam, a lot of people have converted because of this. They've become believers.
You say reverted too.
Yeah. You know, so this is part of God's plan. And, you know, in my heart, I want to believe that, like, the people don't feel pain, that something just overcomes them. Because I don't know, like, I learned a lot of the Quran, you know, when I was younger. My dad put me in a private school, so I learned some. But if I remember correctly, like, the story of Jesus, because what people don't understand is Muslims believe in Jesus just as much as they do. They just believe he's the son of God, you know, he's a prophet. And if I remember correctly, and, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but he was, his soul or spirit was removed from his body before he got crucified, and the man that was like trying to do him dirty went in there, and he was the one that actually was like got tortured.
Yeah, it was someone else. Like, Allah saved him.
So like, I want to believe that that's happening every day. That every child that is about to get, like, you know, about to die or about to get bombed, that their soul switches with the person igniting that bomb, and that person feels it. I want to believe that so bad. I want to believe that that's what's, you know, I like, you know what I mean? It's one of those things where you just want to, like, have some type of peace. You know what I mean? And I want to believe.
Just believe it. No, seriously.
If it happened in a holy book, why couldn't it be happening today?
No. Right? That's the point of the holy book. It is happening. Yeah. And it is our duty as human beings to be there for other human beings. Like, the most profound thing for me in the Quran, and I'm still, you know, learning because you got to memorize it. But the most compelling thing that moved me among many things was because they have this section that a lot of people like to take out. It's like, oh, gather all your enemies and kill them. But they don't understand that that's part of the whole chapter, the surah, the song of a war that was happening at the time. That was part of the story of what they told the soldiers. But when you finish the rest of that story, the revelation, the word of God, the lesson was, to harm one human is as if you have harmed all humanity. To save one human being is as if you have saved all humanity. Do not kill. And that's the like, in the Christian word, that's the gospel. But they just take out a part to slander, of course. And that's, again, propaganda. They just take a little tiny bit of something that looks like the truth or something from the truth, and then they decorate it with all the lies and, you know, lies and manipulation. You know, that's the devil's way. I can't do that. No one should do that. This is all only pleasing the devil. So
Yeah.
you follow what's good, what's in your heart, what you said earlier, what God placed in your heart to do good for people. That'll bring you closer to God, I believe. And that's what we should do. We should still do what we can to save all humanity.
Yes.
And we do that with character, with conduct, with conviction, with unity, community, everything. And we could do this, you know?
We can. I believe that.
Hey. So, anything you would like to add? I think we're at a good wrapping up situation.
Yeah,
we can do this again too. Whatever helps.
Yeah, I'd love to do it, man. We've been on like almost 2 hours. Wow, I know.
Yeah.
We would probably go for another 2 hours. But yeah, just if you're watching and you're confused about what's going on, feel free to reach out to me. I'm sure you could post like my
I'm gonna put all your links in the description. You guys probably see it right now.
And then I'm gonna come up with something. So stay connected.
You came up with so many. You came up with 2 revolutionary ideas right now. You maybe in the future, soon, near future,
like
whatever.
actually make it happen.
We could do
an
so
idea
much.
is an idea, but we got to put action behind it, right? So I don't know. I am a take action type of person. So if God starts putting things there for me and I see it, I'm going to make it happen. So stay connected. I really appreciate you for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was a great conversation. Just great everything. I appreciate it. Great energy from you too. Thank you. And, thank you for supporting the Palestinians and trying to do what you can. Anything and everything helps. So thank you so much.
I hope so. So everyone, do your homework, follow up on this. Well, I don't want to say homework, but do what's right. We all have to be journalists. We have to do diligence. Thank you. Yeah, you'd be a good leader. If I was in Riverside, man, I'd definitely vote for you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I guess one thing I want to take away from this discussion we had, which was beautiful, the first time talking to you, other than text. So, the more we talk about it, the more keep talking, normalize talking about Palestine. Through this discussion came up with 2 great ideas. We're having great revelation. The more content we could do, keep talking about Palestine, keep protesting peacefully, do the right thing. We got to do everything we can. So I want to thank you all for tuning in and follow, support Jessica Q right here. And
peace in the Middle East. Literally, I used to always say that, but I really mean it. Like crying. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Kojay.
My pleasure, and I hope we help. So support everybody, support everything, and keep it going, and we'll free Palestine.